Hello everyone and welcome back to the final episode of this half of the Mega Man X Legacy Collection All Achievements Marathon Let's Play. Last time we finished X4 Zero and obtained the last of the achievements that can be obtained just by playing the games. We're up to 45 out of 104 total. It's not 44 because we also got an achievement for beating all 4 games in the collection. So this time we're going to be tackling the remaining 7 achievements in this collection. Now, I did record me talking while I got all of this footage, but the structure was very sloppy, so most of this will be me talking over this in post, which is what I'm currently doing. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Our first achievement to tackle is Reconnaissance Complete, which you get for going into the image gallery, viewing a total of 20 images, with at least one from each game, and then going into a game and switching to one of the secret wallpapers. We got the first one for beating a game, and the second one for getting half the achievements. And here's the first one. It's okay, I guess. Feels less attention-grabby than the others. But then we have the second one, and good lord, why did they do this? Anyway, that's the achievement. Now, I booted up X2 because our next achievement is most quickly obtained in X2. By completing the intro stage of any game in both the English and Japanese versions, we get he's actually called Vava. Vile is known as Vava in Japan, in case you were unaware. Now, the next achievement I was planning to get actually can't be obtained just yet, but we're going to set it up anyway. You'll need to go into the music player and listen to 10 tracks all the way through. When I originally got this on PC, I just left the music player on overnight while I went to sleep, and I woke up with the achievement already obtained, but I'll get into why this wouldn't have worked this time around later on. Our final achievements all involve X Challenge to at least some degree, so I'm going to hand it over to me from April 17th. Wow, it's really been that long already. Anyway, here's past me to talk a bit about X Challenge and a couple achievements you can get in it. Alright everyone, it's time to start X Challenge. Let's get into it. So, as you can see, it says Double Boss Battle Action. I have a lot to say about this one. So, this is X Challenge. Now, it does feature bosses from X1 through 6, so we are seeing some spoilers here, but honestly, I doubt you care at this point. Anyway, there are 3 difficulty modes. I believe you unlock hard by beating the whole thing on either easy or normal. I know for a fact I didn't unlock it before by beating normal. We'll get into that. We are going to be playing easy because I really don't want to torture myself here. I will show what normal is like later, but not right now. Anyway, this mode features an extensive lineup of bosses. No, it doesn't. From the Mega Man X series, so some stages may contain spoilers for the games themselves. It is recommended that you play through each game once before trying X Challenge mode. This is effectively your spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled on X5 and 6, you wait on this one. However, first thing we're going to be doing is getting a couple achievements that don't require beating all the stages, which won't provide too much spoilers, if any. And then, after that, I will be showing some minor bonus content with the X Challenge footage in the corner, because honestly, doing the whole thing with me trying to commentate over it would be very boring. Let's get into it. There are countless Mavericks who've suffered defeat at your hands. Now somehow they've reappeared and are causing havoc. Prepare yourself, X. And here we are. This is X Challenge. So, you get to select 3 weapons to take across 3 different fights, each fight containing 2 Mavericks. Yeah, so not all of these weapons are useful in the stage, but here they are anyways. So first I'm going to showcase Buster Only mode, which is just pressing the start button without any weapon selected. And yeah, let's check it out. So again, there are going to be some minor spoilers for X5 and X6 here. Main one being that X has access to a saber, which will seem weird if you haven't played X6. So, I forgot my controls are wrong. The timer keeps going if you pause, but if you press select to open the menu, it doesn't, which is kind of strange. Anyway, my controls, yeah. That, and that. And, yeah. Okay. So, two bosses we're fighting here are Frost Walrus and Chill Penguin. Wow, that creates a lot more particles than I remember it. So you do play as the PlayStation version of X, but this time he has a saber, because X6. I'll get into that later. So, yeah, this is just, you fight two bosses at the same time. This is extremely easy on easy mode, which is why I'm doing it here. You can get all the achievements related to X Challenge in easy mode. There's no reason to play normal unless you hate yourself. So yeah. I'll go more in depth on the differences later, but for now, this is it. You're just... Normally you'd have weapons, but I don't, because I'm trying to get the achievement here. And I believe it is just like one fight you have to do. You don't even have to clear all three parts of the stage, it's just do one fight, Buster Only, and you're good. Can it really be called Buster Only when you also have a saber? I feel like it's wrong. But in a second I can show that when you defeat a boss, they will drop health. Only on easy. Again, I'll get into that. So, you also have the leg parts from the fourth armor or the ultimate armor, I guess. Either one, really. Although they're recolored ultimate armor sprites. And there we go. And in a moment, I should get the achievement. Complete. And there we go, Elite. And I'm gonna cancel this. Oh wait, that's the wrong button. No. Okay, now that we've done that, the next achievement is by accessing the leaderboard. Let's check out our rank. I don't know what my rank is. Let's see. My rank is 8,296. This is from when I actually like did this for real. I deleted my saves on the Switch, but yeah. Anyways, oh wait, I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go. What's your hunter rank? There we go. We checked our rank. Now that we got that out of the way, our next achievement involves actually finishing the entirety of X Challenge on any difficulty. This would be extremely boring to watch, so I'm gonna just leave X Challenge in the corner there while I talk about some stuff that I could have shown in previous videos, but I didn't. First things first, almost all the footage you're seeing here was played on an emulator using the Japanese versions of each game. I want to talk about some of the differences between the English and Japanese versions of these games. Starting with X1, I want to show you all the Japanese names of the 8 Maverick bosses. First up we have Icy Pingigo, and yes, it's not Pinguigo, it's pronounced Pingigo. Next we have Burnin' Nomander. Boomer Quanger is still just a boomer. Sting Cameliao. Spark Mandriller. Storm Eagleed. Armor Armarge. And last but not least, Roncha Octopardo. And yes, that's how it's pronounced in Japanese. Next up, there's also a couple things on the stage select screen that I forgot to show. This isn't exclusive to the Japanese version, but here you go anyway. If you press the map button in the corner, you can get an idea of where each stage is in relation to the others, which is kinda neat. If you select spec in the corner, you can see, well, the specs of all the Mavericks. It's got height, weight, and attacks of each boss. It's kinda neat, I guess. Still says Homing Torpedo for Octopardo there, and yeah. Not much else to say about it, really. But you don't really care about this stuff, do you? You want to see actual game content I skipped. First, I want to show off Iceless, the trick I got in 3 tries when I first recorded X1, then couldn't do for a whole 20 minutes when I had to re-record it, and then got in just 2 tries here. I don't know how I messed it up so bad in the actual playthrough, but there it is. This is a really precise trick, and it took me a lot of practice to be able to do it at first. So, don't feel bad if you can't do it. Next up we have what Stinkameliao's stage looks like after you've defeated Octopardo. Now there's water here, and you can use this water to easily get the heart tank that I used an ice sled for. This is how you're supposed to get it. Now I want to show something that I bet most of you are very unfamiliar with. Burn in No Mander's stage before you've beaten Pengigo. Ever wonder why there's no fire in the fire level? Now you know. The lava isn't insta-kill, just takes out a nice chunk of health. But yeah, not much else to say really. And still within No Mander's stage, here's a funny glitch you can pull off. You can actually climb up onto the ceiling here, and you can scroll the screen in ways you're clearly not supposed to, which ends up messing up the object and graphics data. You can see what should be the sub-tank is currently using X's sprite data. And it's also not supposed to be there because I already have 4 sub-tanks. Something else to note is that the death floor is actually always located just below the camera's limit. Next up, here's Spark Mandriller's stage before Eagleed has been defeated. The place is yet to be wrecked by Eagleed's ship, so there's more high voltage stuff going on, and lights only dim instead of going completely off. The mini-boss here is also more of a problem now, since it can do lightning attacks that take a fair chunk of health. But other than that, it's alright, I guess. Now for the Hadoken, which I regrettably didn't really show. I'm sure most of you have seen it plenty of times by now, so here's a funny thing. Hitting Vava's ride armor with a Hadoken. Not useful, but it's fun. Next thing to know is that if you die to Vava while he's out of his right armor, then you don't have to deal with his right armor again. And similarly, if Vava is dead and you game over and have to go back through here, he remains dead. You don't have to fight him until you reset the game. And for fun, here's what a more proper Vava skip looks like. I'm sure a speedrunner or two could tell me how it's still not correct, but whatever. I'm not here to teach you how to beat these games as fast as possible. Next up, and this is the only game I'll do this for, I want to fight a couple bosses Buster only. First is Mandriller. He's notorious for being a complete pushover with his weakness, so I want to show what it's like without it. So he does get flinched by the Charged Buster, which is kind of nice. It also takes full damage from Charged Buster shots, And of course he has more time to actually attack you because you're not freezing him over and over again. So if you're not ready for it, this can actually be kind of tough. But, you know, I'm good at video games. And now I have Armarge Buster only, which can be incredibly annoying. I'm mainly showing this so that if you do decide to do a Buster only run yourself, you'll have a better idea of how to fight him. Whatever you do, do not use charge shots on him. You're gonna regret it. Instead, take advantage of the fact that Dash Lemons deal 2 damage to bosses instead of 1. Charge shots will only do 1 damage to Armarge while he still has his armor anyway, so what I do here is I just shoot a couple shots and then try to time my 3rd shot that I dash for in such a way that it hits him before he tries to guard again. But yeah, he's pretty annoying to fight Buster only, and I ended up dying here. Partly because I wasn't really trying, but let's move on to something more interesting. So what happens if you jump after doing the Armarge refight skip? Well, he spawns in basically like normal. However, if the door is already broken, something more interesting happens. By leaving the boss area, his graphics get all messed up, as well as his palette. And yeah, he's just kind of stuck here. I tried for a pretty long time to lure him up out of there, but it just never happened. So let's just move on to X2 now. Now, of course, we're in Rockman X2 because I want to show off the Japanese version differences, but first I want to show this fantastic demo that plays if you stay on the intro sequence for long enough. It's incredible how much skill is being shown here. Look at that RNG manipulation. No one would assume dying to the intro boss ends up being faster. Anyway, Japanese boss names. Now we actually get to see them all on the stage select screen here. So we have Wirehead Amarl, Metamorph Minos, Flame Stagger, Magna Hyakuleger, Crystar Mimine, Wheel Alligates, Bubbly Crablos, and Sonic Ostreet. But I want to show something odd. So it's Metamorph Minos on the stage select screen and in the credits. In the boss intro, he's Mothmenos. Very strange. Anyway, here's the strat for killing alligates fast, though I messed it up a bit here. If you have good timing, you can take them out pretty fast, but if you're bad at timing your strike chain hits like me, it's actually faster to just do Buster only. Next I want to show off how pathetic Stagger is with his weakness. He can't do a thing. It's incredible. Also, you see me doing really short jumps here? That's not intentional. For whatever reason, when you hit him with this weakness, it just cancels your jump. I don't know why. Now for something I literally only found out as I was recording this. A friend of mine told me I should bring the ride armor into the mini-boss area in my mind stage, and yeah, you can do it. It's definitely slower to do this than just fight it normally, but I guess if it's giving you that much trouble, it could help. And sadly, you can't take the right armor further. Now I want to show the intended method of getting the Shoryuken. You're supposed to come up here, do some air dashes or whatever to get across these spikes. You can see I'm being very careful here. And I did fail this several times, but here we are, like God intended. Also toe capsule. Now we're not going to use the Shoryuken. I want to show you what Agile is like without it, because I don't think many people know. He's still very easy, very abusable attacks. For fun, I tried to see how long I could make this fight last, and it took a very long time. I eventually boosted the emulator speed to make this go faster, and there was still just no end in sight. Then I tried timing the kill with falling in the pit, but I think there was still floor below me or something. Anyway, it's neat, I guess. Now what happens if you didn't get all 0 parts? Well, you fight him. And of course I do swag Shoryuken strats. He's weak to Speed Burner, or Rolling Burner as it's called in the Japanese version. But yeah, it's pretty great, I guess. Just do this, don't fight the X-Hunters. Now for X3! And wow, is there a lot to talk about here. And I'm not even getting into all of it today. First things first, of course, Japanese boss names. Going in the order of my 100% route. Screw Cider, Frozen Buffaleo, Shining Tigered, Acid Sea Force, Gravity Beat Bood, Explose Hornet, Electro Namazuros, and last but most certainly not least, Scissor Shrimp. That's actually his name. Now I subtly acknowledged it a minute ago in X2, but sometimes weapon names are also different. If you look closely here, you may notice a weapon called Beehole. And I'm not making this up. This is in Legacy Collection, you can check. And you might think it would be an abbreviation of Black Hole, but no! It's actually Bug Hole! How? How did this happen? Gravity Well is a better name. But Beehole is funny. Anyway, next two things I want to show are an Explosive Hornet stage. I very briefly showed the right armor in this stage just to unlock it, but now I'm going to show what that's actually like. It's very standard right armor, it's just got a punch, and I think it has a charge attack, but I didn't get any footage of it, and I'm not doing it now. Find it out yourself. There's also something different here if you haven't defeated Gravity Beat Boot yet. This freight aircraft comes down and some robots try to load crates onto it. I've sped it up here because it genuinely takes this long. This is also the primary reason I didn't come here before fighting Beat Boot. On top of the boss fight taking longer, this is a huge time waster, and it's just faster to fight Hornet after Beat Boot. Now for another stage difference. If Electro Namazuros is defeated, Frozen Buffalo's stage will be very slightly changed. You can see how the lights are on, which do nothing. Genuinely, there's almost no difference, except for a little bit later. In the underground section, there are now lights on, which make the floor in this section not icy. Which I guess brings up an interesting point, they're still using incandescent lights in 21XX. Kinda strange, but I guess they couldn't have predicted that LED light fixtures would become the standard back in '95. Anyway, something I neglected to show, partly because I forgot, and partly because there's literally no reason to do this. You can destroy the wind generator of sorts, which removes the blizzard visual effect that darkens the screen a little. That's all it does. Nothing is gained from doing this. In fact, it could be more of a hindrance than anything else. Next up, I'll be showing the locations of all the chip capsules. First off, we're going to Acid Sea-Force's stage, and I'll show you how you're supposed to get it this time. You need to have the F right armor chip, which means you also need the N right armor chip unlocked from Hornet's stage. And here's the Frog right armor. It sucks. Genuinely, it's so bad. It does little hops and shoots 2 torpedoes that are absolutely worthless on land. And it's not really much better in the water either, but notably this is the only right armor that can function in the water. All the other ones have their controls locked in the water and also get their health drained. Anyway, you come over here and destroy these turbines that without the right armor push you back to the point where you can't reach them. You can also only damage them with the right armor. Of course, you can still just use Charged Frost Shield to reach the top here faster. Faster as in it just takes less time, and faster as in it literally requires less stage visits to do so. Anyway, here's the leg chip capsule. Remember that you can only ever get one chip capsule in your entire playthrough, so make it count. Or just wait until Doppler 1 so you can get the hyper chip. Once again, the leg chip lets you do a second air dash, or an air dash after a dash jump. Next we'll be getting the head chip in Explosive Hornet stage. It's very close to the start, and once again you're intended to have a right armor to get this one. You just use a right armor to cross this gap, and the capsule's right there. Or you can neon jump, which is faster. Again, the head chip allows X to regenerate health, including into his sub-tanks after standing still for a while. Next up, the Buster chip. We're in Gravity Beat Boot stage. After the elevator, come up here to grab a right armor. I'm using the Hawk armor again because I like hovering. And unlike the last two, you actually do need a right armor to get this one. Bring your right armor all the way over here and you'll be able to store these blocks and then go across these spikes, because apparently they needed extra assurance that you actually brought a right armor over here. And here's the capsule. Once again, the Buster chip gives you access to the hypercharge, which allows you to spam charge shots as long as you have the meter full when you equip it. And finally, the body chip. In Scissor Shrimper's stage, it's really close to where you get the heart tank, which also requires the right armor. Fall down this pit, and then destroy the blocks with the right armor, and the capsule is here. Again, this makes the energy field that generates around X absorb 50% damage for an effective 75% damage reduction while active. Kinda stupid when you think about it, because what's the point of making enemies do stupid amounts of damage if you can just cut the incoming damage in half as soon as you collect one item, and then reduce it even further by collecting another one? Next up, we're back in Legacy Collection for a moment, because I actually recorded this when I went to get the achievement for beating Sigma without the hyperchip. Didn't include it there because the video was already getting annoyingly long, much like this one. So if you properly defeated both Bit and Bite with their weaknesses, Frost Shield and Tornado Fang respectively, you get a different boss up here in Doppler Stage 1. This is Press Disposer, and it's weak to Ray Splasher just like God Carmashino and Ari. And you'll see why, even ignoring achievements, I never fight this boss. This is the only thing that changes if you kill both Bit and Bite. You just get a more annoying boss to fight at the end. He's really annoying to hit with the Ray Splasher, and unless you have perfect aim, doing it Buster only might genuinely be faster. You can see I even sped this up, because it took me so long. Maybe I could beat it faster if I fought enough times, but I won't. Anyway, now here's Doppler Stage 2, but Vava is still alive. Place is all roughed up, and some enemies are replaced by weaker ones. Not much else to say, except for that Mosquitus is already dead, which means you can't get the Z-Saber. But of course the main boss is also gone. Instead we fight Vava in a new right armor, the Goliath. It's kind of baffling to me, because this fight is genuinely fairly tough and involved, but the key to unlocking the Z-Saber is instead of fighting a far easier version of this boss and landing the final hit with his weakness. And yeah, if you couldn't tell, I did actually die here a few times. It's been a long while since I actually fought Vava here. Literal years. Now what happens if Zero lives? Well, not that much. But enough for me to talk about it. First, when you get to the halfway point of Doppler 4, Zero steps in and says he's going to do some stuff, then breaks a wall to dash through, which sadly you cannot. Next, once you defeat Sigma and finish the lava climb, the cutscene is just like before, including X saying, "Damn, it's a dead end." But instead of Doppler coming out of the ceiling, it's Zero. Zero explains that he got Doppler to put an antivirus program in his saber, and then Sigma dies. Only other difference past this point is that Zero also appears in the ending text crawl and also the cast roll. And yeah, good, okay, who cares? I want the Z-Saber. Which is why we're moving on to X4. We're almost done here, folks. First things first, Zero's black armor. Hold R1 and press right 6 times, then hold the bottom face button while pressing start. If you're on a Western release of the PlayStation version or the Xbox version, then it's the right face button. And what does that do? It makes Zero's armor black instead of red. Nothing else though, sadly. So yeah, it's a purely cosmetic change in X4, not the case in later games though. Next thing I want to show is fighting Aregian in the first half of the intro stage. It's a complete waste of time. He'll stop bothering you once his health drops to 0, but he's still going to fight you at full health in the second half of the intro stage. It's also pretty annoying to do as Zero. He seems to take more damage from the charge buster shots as X, which are also much easier to repeatedly land. But that's enough of that. Time for the Japanese boss names again. But this time I can just let the announcer say the names for me, which saves me time in making this video. Something else to note is that while in the English version only a select few bosses have voiced intro quotes, in the Japanese version they all do. I won't be showing them all, as some of them even have multiple, just like fortress bosses, but here's a few to give you a taste. Next I want to point out the difference in the Japanese voice acting for the cutscenes. I won't be showing them all, but here's a couple key points. A lot better, isn't it? Not as funny, though. And the Iris death cutscene. Now, you might need to be using headphones to really get a feel for this, but pay attention to the audio mixing. I swear to God I didn't edit this time. This is just how it is. Anyway, just a few more things here. Something I noticed while watching one of these videos render is the really gross tiling here in Frost Kipitodos' stage. The tiles just don't really connect well, and it's really odd to me. Maybe it would have looked better on a CRT, but I don't really have the means to test that right now. Just something interesting I wanted to point out. Also in Spaceport, there's a secret full health restore hidden in the wall just before the fight with Colonel. I learned about this literally a month ago, a few weeks after I already recorded the original playthrough. And finally, here's what happens if you let Sigma's Scythe hit the floor in phase 2 of his fight. Electric arcs go across the floor, and little boomerang things fly toward your current position, stop, and then later fly back to where you are again, this time leaving the screen. It's incredibly difficult to avoid getting hit during this, which is why it's so important to just make sure the Scythe hits the wall instead of the floor. And with that, we're done with the bonus content for now. So there's still a lot I want to talk about, but I'm going to save it for another time. I mostly just wanted to cover stuff that I could have easily gone over within the Legacy Collection itself. So that was X Challenge on easy mode in the corner. I'll go over my thoughts on X Challenge in Volume 2, but for now just know that I'm really not a fan of it. I'm also still going to hold off on my thoughts on these games, because a large amount of what I want to say also ties into the other 4 games we have yet to play. So with that being said, what's next? Well, I'm going to be giving this series a break for a while. I don't know how long exactly, but don't expect a new video of this series before August. I'm going to be spending my time working on my own game that I've been working on for... oh lord, it's been 2 years. Anyway, Virtual Blade. It's still very incomplete, but it's not going to be done much faster if I'm wasting my time working on an hour-long video for weeks. It's an action platformer where you go from stage to stage, running, jumping, dashing, and slashing until you reach the end. I won't go too in-depth here, as I've been planning on making actual videos about it for... oh lord, it's already June. Anyway, so on top of me taking a break from this series to work on my game, I may also be wedging another series in before we get to X5. This is very much subject to change, and I don't even know what said series will be yet. So I haven't actually talked about these credits yet, and I need to because these are kind of important. You need to keep shooting these letters until you see a music note in the corner. Once you see that, you're in the clear for the extra credits stuff. I think seeing the extra credits is the key to unlocking the secret music track, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, after viewing the credits in full, we get the achievement Identity Erased. I'm gone. I don't exist anymore. And after seeing the end result screen, you get A-Class Hunter. So now for our final achievement, after listening to 10 tracks in the music player, you need to listen to the secret track. Is it this? Is this the secret track? It is. I forgot. Such a lame secret track. And the secret track is just an extended version of Give It a Shot. Very lame. And there we go. All 52 achievements of Legacy Collection 1. That's 52 out of 104 total, and I'm not looking forward to getting the rest, in all honesty. That's it. Again, this series is going to take a break for a bit while I work on more important projects. If you want some more Mega Man content to watch, my friend Jazzio just finished a playthrough of Mega Man 01 on his channel, which I'll link in the description. If you're sick of Mega Man by this point, don't blame you. My friend K-Mills is finishing up his playthrough of Bully Scholarship Edition, and he's also doing a playthrough of Bug Fables, which again will be linked in the description. If you want to keep up to date with me, I post random garbage on my Twitter, @number90. I also occasionally do live streams, which are both on here and my Twitch page, again linked in the description. And that's about it. Once again, I thank you all for watching, greatly appreciate it. Tune in next time for something different. See you all then.